Good Sunday morning, I'm Sean Owsley. Well, this morning, using technology and software to help overcome addiction. That is the passion and focus of my two guests this morning. Ed and Gail Stevenson from Life Recovery Solutions are in the business of helping people find a path back. And they're approaching it in a unique way with something called LifeConnect. Well, the first question, talk about how you ended up at this point doing what you do.
Sure.
We both have experienced issues with family and ended up running recovery groups. And in that, we heard and listened to all these individual struggles. And with Ed's experience with software and creating software solutions to solve a problem, that's what we ended up doing. We took their struggles and created a software solution for individuals struggling with addiction, mental illness, homelessness.
Ed talks about applying that in real time to somebody that's battling.
Sure. One of the things that addicts and people struggling with chronic illness struggle with is their behavior. And so when they engage with our software, it actually helps them stay focused on their recovery. And we call it behavior modification, but it's changing old habits into new habits.
Is it basically tracking the behavior in real time? Walk us through it a little more in depth.
Sure. What we do is we actually, Zoey, which is our virtual assistant, asks them very specific questions throughout the day, but she also asks them how their mood is, and we track their mood 5 different ways. And we track it from -2 to +2. And so we can see what their mood is throughout the day, and we can track it. And it makes the counselor's job much more productive and effective because they can see in real time what's going on with their moods, their triggers, and what their behavior is, so we can keep them focused on their recovery.
And did you think this would be the business you were in if you 10 years ago?
Never.
And so how did you end up here?
Well, just running the recovery groups, we saw the problems, and there's a gap between when people start with these struggles and are trying to get their life back on track and to a more productive life. The struggles are real. And so we came up with this solution to help professionals guide them so that they can just stay on track and get their lives back to a more productive lifestyle.
I don't know, and in my experience with people that I know, friends, family, they'll voluntarily go. It's just maintaining or having that safety net and stopping from falling again. Is that right?
It is. And what I always talk about is it's like cancer. Once you fall into addiction, it can take 3 to 5 years before your brain rewires itself. It's called neuroplasticity. And our app actually helps them focus on that and rewire their brain. And one of the things that we're looking at with the city is, we're spending $8.5 million every year for homelessness, and the city council just voted to increase that by $800,000. If we use our software to help the city guide people through their process of homelessness, attaching it to resources, then we can actually reduce that amount significantly. At least that's the goal.
So it's a business model that you can tangibly say has an impact. It's unique as well, and you can apply it going forward and help people.
Absolutely. It's a social impact business where we actually help people who are struggling with life, whether it's addiction, mental illness, or homelessness, get their life back on track and become a productive member of society. And that's our goal. Our vision is transform lives and families.
I know you have been doing that and going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
For you, firsthand, what have you seen where you've taken this, which was an idea that you came up to really kind of redirect somebody back onto a better path, and you've actually seen it work?
It's been amazing. We have a couple of amazing success stories. We have a lot of successes, but a couple that have just been phenomenal, where they've come out of prison or out of rehab and literally gotten their life back one piece at a time. First they got a car and a place to live, and then they got a job, and then they got their kids back, and they've gotten into relationships, healthy relationships, and it's amazing when you see that transformation.
How many times have they told you, I never thought this would be attainable for me again?
Countless times.
Yet it is.
Yes. It is, if they have the right focus and they have the we call it the life circle, the support system around them. It's amazing what that can do.
And I would be remiss to either of you this question if I didn't ask, this time of year is so much harder for everyone involved. And if somebody is struggling with sobriety, to stay sober through this stretch, which can be so stressful, or they're not with loved ones, or they're not around family, there's fractured relationships, how do you help them navigate that?
It's actually very difficult because this time of year people fall into depression if they're alone. And my phone and Gail's phone is always available 24/7, and people call us all the time. We were just recently on a business trip, and I got a call during the business trip of somebody needing support, fell into depression, missing his kids, and it's really difficult. So we try to get them refocused back on what is important in their life. And in this particular instance, it was his son. You know, he's missing his son, and he doesn't have full custody. So he was really struggling and thinking that, is my life or my son's life better off without my son? And I said, think of your son in 15 to 20 years. Where's dad now? And it's important to keep them focused on the future, not the moment at hand, because this moment will pass. And so we need to redirect their thinking in long term, not short term.
If somebody's watching and they want to utilize your service, how do they reach you?
They can go to our website, which is info@liferecoverysolution.com. I just want to add one more thing to what Ed said with your question, is it's that tether, or we view Zoey as a tether to the client or the individual, and it's that tether or connection that keeps people going in a forward direction to maintain their sobriety and get their life back on track.
Fantastic. The business model and the approach is so unique.
Yeah, and if they go to our website, liferecoverysolution.com, and there's a tab that's vlog for our videos, there's a lot of videos on there that we've put together that help people with what they're struggling with, and we just published one on suicide because of this time of year. So, and the one before that was on homelessness, because given what's going on in our city today.
It also lets people to see, hey, there are other people like me. I'm not alone, and it's that first step in recovery. Well, I thank you both for being on Best Northwest. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
It was our pleasure.